Welcome back, everybody. It's Wukepedia with the Undead Legacy tips and tricks video. So, starting off, as I know I said it in my review, but go to the journal tab, read every one of these Undead Legacy journal tabs. They are the game has been changed quite a bit. These things will help you. I promise they are worth the time to read them. Biggest thing is storage. So let's go into here. The game allows you to pick up objects pretty regularly. Here's an empty iron desk. I'm gonna pick it up. I don't have a land claim here or anything. I can use this thing as decoration, or I could use it in my own house and bring it home as storage. You can do the same thing with filing cabinets, with cardboard boxes. You can pick things up, chairs, say there's lighting and things. If you want to pick something up, try and pick it up. You can pick up almost anything, and you can actually make a lot of money doing that as well through the trading system. Fluorescent lights are a very good source of income for you, and they can almost all be picked up very easily. Like, here's a light. And I have it. This thing will sell for $21. A lot of things won't sell at all, but for those that will, you can just pick them up. How about an exit sign? I can pick it up. 21 bucks. So, take your time when you're looting, and be sure to look for things that you would want to pick up. And it changes the way I view a lot of prefabs. Some of them aren't quite as valuable as others. But as soon as you can start picking stuff up, department stores and things like that are quite nice with lots of low-hanging lights. I believe the Savage Country would be one that would be really good. I was there before. Not exactly sure where it is. But you can get a lot more out of prefabs like that because of the lighting and stuff like that. But make sure to bring home a few boxes for yourself. Wonder I could probably even pick these up. Yep. I can pick up a bookstore box. A little cardboard box and take that home with me. That's a bunch of storage. Making a chest in the early game is actually quite difficult, so I recommend picking up storage when you start the game. Vehicles. Vehicles, there's a huge variety of vehicles. They come in all different shapes and sizes. I highly recommend getting a car repair kit as soon as possible. A car repair kit will allow you to repair almost any SUV or coupe. Motorcycle repair kits will get you a motorcycle. Those are also quite cheap. And a motorcycle you could work off of for quite a while. Mini bike even, or a bicycle. The weight system in the game isn't super conducive to a motorcycle, or not a motorcycle, a bicycle. A bike can't carry much more than you can. And oftentimes the power of the bike was you would encumber yourself and then hop on the bike. But that doesn't work here. It actually factors in your own weight as well. So if you want to go with a truck repair kit, the truck repair kit I believe only repairs the military truck. It carries a ton of weight, 12,000 pounds, but it uses a lot of gas. A Hummer is a great option as well. The base vanilla truck is decent. They carry about 1,800 pounds. I think this is about 1,600, 1,200. Basically, the faster it moves, the less weight it'll have. I didn't find any vehicles that were unbalanced at all. There's helicopters in the game. The DH-800 is 3,500 pounds. These are like 680. The gyro is only like 250, but with vehicle mods... Oh, why can't I? With vehicle mods, you can add 250 pounds to them, so you can make it pretty usable. It's 550 with a gyrocopter. This is like 200,000 pounds. So, just overkill for sure. But you can't make that thing. You have to buy it from the trader. Moving on, the research system. You can get research points by scrapping almost any schematic or skill book. Now, with this progression system on skills, they'll have books that increase your lockpicking by 1 or your looting by 1. Old Alpha 16 players will remember having things like that. So you can just scrap those. So like, let me just grab one of these, and then like I can use it, but it's already grayed out, so I've already learned it. If I scrap it, I get 50 research. Now with that 50 research, you can make almost any schematic in the game. Usually it depends on the item, so like if you want to make a contact grenade pattern, you have to have a grenade, and then you can learn how to make the recipe to teach you how to make the grenades. Sometimes the patterns don't require the item itself, so it just requires roughly the materials to make it, to learn how to make it. So look at the patterns that you have and find out if it's something that you want to spend your research on. Eventually, like early on, we only looted libraries. We always stopped for libraries, and we didn't stop looting libraries for a very, very, very long time. There are so many patterns in this game. Focus libraries early, tag them with the days that the loot respawn will be there, and go back. The way that you also level up your crafting in this mod is by spending research to improve the quality of stuff. So mining and axe research. To make a purple tool, I have to learn how to make a G, an F, an E, a D, a C, and then a B. So I have to spend research and materials all the way up to learn how to make better tools. You don't actually get better tools by putting points in the Miner 69er anymore. You still get benefits from it, and you get benefits from learning on your mining as well, on your secondary skills, but you have to make patterns to teach yourself how to make better tools and weapons, etc., etc. And that's what's all the research things for salvage tool, guns, stun batons, etc., etc. So you have to have the pattern to make the item, and you have to do research to make the items better. But yeah, there's so many different tables. You're going to want to have a nice big house. There's forges, there's furnaces, there's disassembly stations, there's mechanic stations, there's mechanic 2, like there's tiers of stations. There's workbenches like normal, there's carpenter tables, ballistics tables, tier 2 ballistics, tailoring stations. So there's definitely a lot to go through, and we've got our little furry nut guys. Metal containers have a lot more slots in them. Definitely look into making a couple of those to help you sort things. You can make gun safes and stuff like that pretty cheaply as well. And all the slots are in there. So like if you go storage, it says storage 49. So if you go gun safe 98, I don't remember what these things are called. Container. Thank you very much for that sub. Container. So like a hardened chest is 160. So this is like the loot container that you would find. So that's what this thing is. This is the hardened chest. That's 160 slots. So this is like where some of our mining stuff is and things like that. Definitely a lot of work in there. And make sure you guys get the ore extractors and oil pumps early on. These things, it's an oil extractor and an ore extractor. They take augers to make them, but they are definitely worth the investment. Let me see here. Extractor. They're definitely a bit expensive early on. You can make this stuff quite easily, though. The 200 steel plating would be the biggest thing, and it'll take a while for it to pay for itself, but it gets you some unique things that you would want in the return. And it's gasoline, and then the oil extractor is a little bit cheaper, but definitely get onto these things early so that you can have them at your base working, and when the animation is going, they're not ready to be looted. When they're frozen up like that, you can just come in, and nice variety of stuff. It's like having passive ore generation at home, so every time you come home, you empty them out, and they get working again. Also very cool looking there. Farming is normal. I recommend farming the normal stuff early on. If you are looking for a good source of undead flesh, just find a wasteland. There's lots of zombie bears for you. Horde Night is pretty usual. The way we normally deal with Horde Night is like really, really heavy turret use. And in this one, the turret ammo is not nearly as accessible as it is in the base game. It takes a ton of iron and then either stone or lead to make the ammo. So this is our main bases. Like, we made these two up front here first because we were thinking turrets. So we usually have a large walkway. The turrets don't really miss left to right very well, so we just would line up our turrets in here. But we would spend the entire day in 2 workbenches crafting turret ammo, and we'd be out in the first hour. Doesn't really matter what type of design you have. We ended up moving towards this one because we were finding bullets pretty regularly, and we wanted a shooting corridor. Basically, when they're coming down, we're just shooting here the whole time. And if something ever were to get up close, this thing would pump them out, and then they would run right back. Had a couple of boomers explode. I think this is 2 or 3 Horde Knights worth of damage. But yeah, just get a ramp, get a shooting corridor, use armor-piercing ammo or a magnum if you have the perks for that to pierce, and just blast down the hallway. Have 1 thumper and you're good to go. This thing won't really take any damage unless you shoot it accidentally, so be careful with that. But something like this will work very well. We would farm anywhere from 2 to 4 levels a night. I apologize for the coughing. Horde Knights are basically the same as any vanilla Horde Knight. There's no extra zombies or anything. Just handle them like you normally would. Endgame looting. The game stage 91, I believe, is the highest that the game recognizes, and this game did not change that at all. Let me see, players. So once you're above game stage 91, based on your game stage there and your days alive times that whatever multiplier, you're just better off looting versus anything else. The only research you can do is up to purple crafting, and you can find orange and gold. So like orange is a tier just above purple, and then gold or S is the top. You can't craft those, and you'll never be able to make those. So once you're at game stage 91, don't start burning your research on being able to make better things. Just go find them. There's also uncraftable items such as the icebreaker pickaxe. Icebreaker. There's no pattern for it. You don't know how to make. You can't make it, but you can find them. Same thing with like. There was something else. Titanium axe, but there's a couple swords and things like that. Like I think one of the katana. There's like unique weapons in the game. So there's like a Rex blade, a laser katana or something, thermal katana. There's a few items that are like top tier items that you can't craft that you have to go find, and they're slightly better than their counterparts that you can craft. So it's not really worth spending all your research making good things. Spend it early. Buy the patterns you need to get the tables so you can progress through the technology, and keep that going. There's also mortars and pestles, and yeah, lots of little work tables and stuff to work through. If you ever need meat, if you go into the winter zone, it is filled with bears, wolves, and mountain lions. You will never go hungry. You can just eat charred meat all day, or grilled preferably, obviously. If you ever need meat, go into the winter zone. I would not recommend living in the winter zone. Desert is basically the normal. There's buzzards, nothing super special. And then the wasteland would have a lot of undead bears, zombie bears. So be careful there. Gas pattern is super important. The gasoline in this game, you don't get gas from wrenching cars. Gasoline is a fluid essentially that you have in these containers, and you can make it with oil shale and some coal powder, which is just ground up coal, but you have to have the pattern for that. So hit those gas stations, hit those car shops with the car part boxes, hit every garage you can find in residential areas. They have a good chance to drop the gasoline pattern. Learn that one. Do not scrap that one. The amount of gas you can mine is drastically higher, even without any mining points, than any amount of gas that you can pull out of barrels. So you'll find barrels like this in the world. I think the highest I've ever seen is a barrel with 6, and you can bring them home and put gas in them. So you can make 6 gas at a time by pulling it out and carrying it around, or You can make thousands at a time. To fill this barrel, this is 60 gas. It takes 60 of this and 30 of this. And the coal is very easy to get. Definitely focus the gasoline pattern. I believe you can even make it, but it's quite expensive. So the schematic costs 2,000 research, which is 20, 40. A lot of recipes scrapped. Most of the schematics that you can learn are 250 to 500 research. Anything over 1,000, start looting more libraries, or try and hit the places where that pattern would be, like a gas station. Passing gas, you'll get the gas pattern pretty quickly. Disassembler is the last table I'll talk about. I think you can learn. I don't think that there is actually a pattern for this. You can take apart things like circuit boards, and you can make them worth more money, actually, because these pieces individually, I think, sell for more than the part itself. And you also get a little research data, and you'll have a lot of extra old books. Don't burn all of your old books, but you'll have extra. You can get research data that way as well. And I wouldn't recommend using your titanium for research. However, most of the things you would want to make out of titanium, you're better off finding better ones anyway. It's up to you how you want to spend that. Last but not least, I'll talk about the perks and which one I think is the best. I think Perception is really worth the 1 point in the beginning, and then you can get Armor Penetrator, which is a 15% armor pen, 1% in Huntsman, or 10% I guess, Lockpicking, and Lucky Looter. So you can essentially put 4 points into things that you're going to be doing constantly, lockpicking especially, because you never have to break open a safe for the 1 point. That's one of the no-brainers. Also with Fortitude, healing factor, you're going to be healing a lot. I think the Field Medic is actually level 2 to get more healing and more XP. You're going to be healing a lot. But I really think that the Strength perk was not the best. I went the Strength perk, and I wanted to put a lot more points elsewhere. I don't think Agility or Fortitude are either. It's possible to do a good playthrough for Fortitude. You would be really self-sufficient with this because of the self-healing. It really adds up quickly. But I think Intellect is the obvious choice. You still want to put a few points here and there to get the easy points elsewhere. But with Intellect, you have improved salvage operations for wrenching. And then you're getting, you're hitting harder, getting more stuff. You have the farming talents, and you have more carry weight, and you have the bartering talents. And then you still have submachine guns, and you have a melee weapon option. You have turrets. Like, Intellect is a little bit too strong, I think, in this one. And I really wish I would have gone that instead. But I was the miner. We needed one of us to get the stuff to supply the bullets for the team. I don't regret going strength, but if I were to play again, I would be full int, and I would be leveling up my salvage tools and trading like a madman, selling everything from all the cars back in. This mod actually can respawn cars, so cars are a self-replenishing resource if you have that turned on, and you would be very self-sufficient, being able to buy everything you want by just wrenching everything down. And you could farm. It's really a great system. That's pretty much it. We had a great time playing this mod pack. I hope you guys do as well. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. As you guys can see on my Darkness Falls videos, I still respond to almost every comment or question. I would love to answer your questions. I stream every day on Twitch. I hope you guys check me out. Have a wonderful night.